So it's extremely important to take care of our bodies. A person needs to make sure he doesn't put any poison in his body, no drugs, don't eat too much, don't do anything that's bad for you. Somebody sent me a question on the way here of a certain type of supplement, and he's asking whether he's allowed to take it or not because it has pig in it. And it's not actually such a simple question. On one hand, you can say no automatically, but in reality, there could be an etir if it doesn't have taste, doesn't have any flavor. But the point is, Rabotai Yekarim, is that bodies, we know, each one of us know that we need to take care of it. Some of us do a better job than others. But what we forget is that no matter what you do, no matter how good you take care of your body, you can go to the gym 9 hours a day. When I was a kid, I used to go to the gym every morning and sometimes at night, and had a fantastic physique. Neshama, on the other hand, not so much. Not so much. Why? The neshama doesn't get any benefit out of you lifting weights. The neshama doesn't get any benefit out of you running 15 miles in the morning just to get your day going. Your neshama doesn't benefit out of you riding a bicycle for 30 miles and breaking a sweat. It doesn't get any benefit out of it. The neshama kedosha, your soul, only gets a benefit if you learn Torah and you fulfill mitzvot. If you connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we know that we have to take care of our health as far as physically, but we always say refuat nefesh v'refuat guf. We need health for our neshama, but also for our guf. But if we had to pick one, it's better the nefesh, not the guf. Why? Because no matter what you do, at some point or another, that body that you took care of and you toiled over and you lifted weights and you lifted houses and you lifted bicycles and you rode the bicycle, and no matter what you do, everyone, Hashem Yerachem, at some point their clock runs out. My cousin was 23 years old when his clock ran out a little over a year ago. Misken, poor kid. Didn't know who Hashem was even. His father knew what $100 million looked like, but he didn't know who Hashem was either. We'll talk about him. Another cousin that I have, what was it, about a month ago, his time ran out at 50 years old. Some people, their time is a little longer, 70, 75, 85, 95. Rav Kaduri, Alav Shalom, my Rav says he was 100 years old for at least 20 years. Everybody says, yeah, he's 100. Yeah, but you've been saying he's 100 for 15 years already. He goes, yeah, after 100 we stop counting. Rav Yashiv, Alav Shalom. Some say he died at 104, some say 106, some say 116. No one knows. Why? After 100 you stop counting. But this is a life that's worth living. Why? Connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu all day, all night. Your mind is still there when you're about to leave this world. Some people at 65, 70 years old, they already want to leave this world because their mind already left years ago. Why? Because it was a sick neshama, a sick soul. Because they didn't give it the cure. So no matter what we do, Rabotai, not to depress us, but to just give us a little bit of a reality check, no matter how much you work on this goof of yours, this body of yours, at some point, that body will become useless. And the only thing that you'll have left is what you had before you came to this world, which is the neshama. And if you worked on your neshama during your life, you'll have an eternity of good. An eternity of good, of pleasure, like no other. If you take all of the good that every human being ever had from the beginning of the world until the end of the world, just the good they had, not the difficulties. Everybody has difficulties, but let's say everybody has 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of good every day. 70 years of 10 minutes. Take his good, everybody's good. From the beginning of the world until now, right now there's almost 8 billion people. Last generation, 6.5 billion. Last generation before that, 5 billion. Last generation before that, 3 billion, and so on and so forth. All the way, take all of the good that everybody ever had. Just the good. Put it in a little box. That's not even 1 hour of the good of a tzaddik in Olam Haba. But as HaKadosh Baruch Hu does what He does, and He says, Machshevotai lo machshevotechem, I don't think like you, I don't have limitations like you, And even though I'm a loving God, and even though I'm a merciful God, and even though I'm a patient God, most of these only apply to this world. Meaning, Kadosh Baruch Hu has patience for us to do tshuva despite our many sins. He'll give us another chance, another chance, another chance. In this world. In the next world, there's no more patience. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is merciful, because despite that sometimes a word against God comes out, once in a while by accident, sometimes on purpose, sometimes accidentally on purpose. We say something against God. Hashem says, I'll be patient, I'll be merciful, I'll give you another chance. But that, Rabotai Yekarim, is in this world. In the next world, when a neshama leaves this world, there's no more mercy. En midat mercy. There's no attribute of mercy in the next world. And just like He has the ultimate love for His people, unfortunately when a person leaves this world, it's pure judgment. If you are a tzaddik or a tzaddikah, ashrecha ve'ashrech elkecha. You're praiseworthy, your share is praiseworthy, you're going to have so much good, you're going to say, Ad blida, it's enough, Hashem, enough, so much good. Unfortunately, if a person didn't do anything, continued being a mechalel Shabbat, continuing driving to the Beit Knesset on Shabbat, continuing going with goyot, continuing touching women without, without being married, continuing touching his wife without her going to the mikveh, which unfortunately a recent statistic from 2017 said that 51% of modern Orthodox people that consider themselves frum, 51% testify that their wives don't go to the mikveh. Hashem Yirachem. It explains a lot of how come this generation is so difficult. He keeps doing it, she keeps doing it, she keeps walking around like she's some runway model. The clothes, half of them are at home, half of them are on her. You're not really sure. Maybe you should combine the two, make a real outfit. You want to keep doing it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says when the time runs out, judgment, judgment. Only thing that arrives is judgment. If you did good, you'll get paid for good. You did bad, unfortunately, you get paid for bad. Now, I don't like to, as much as people think opposite, I don't like to teach scary things, but unfortunately, a big part of the Torah is scary. And what we got to in this letter is a scary part. Now, today is going to be a scary shiur. So, I'm just giving you a disclosure. It's not for the faint of heart, but all of you need to hear it at least one time in your life. The Ramban over here says, "Ki titen et libecha tamid me'ayin bata ule'an ata olech ve'she'ata rima ve'tolea b'chayecha ve'avki b'motcha." The Ramban in this letter is using a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, chapter 3, Mishnah number 1, that Akavia ben Mechalel says the fear of God will intensify in your heart as you work on some of the things we talked about last week. You work on your humility, you work on your Yirat Shamayim. But just in case the system fails, like you have a Yetzirah, there's a girl that's like half naked and you really want to look. It just appeared on your computer, just appeared by itself. You didn't press the button. You didn't press the button, it just appeared by itself. It's a commercial. You're tzaddik, you're not pressing any buttons. But it appears, nonetheless, you press X or do you take a look? And then press Y, and press this, and press this. Next thing you know, you're on that channel for 3 hours. She says she likes you and she really wants to do tshuva, but she really wants to be boyfriend-girlfriend before you get married. It's a nice yetzirah to have. The guy says, listen, no one's going to know. Just take the money. The client has millions. You steal 100, 200,000 from him, he's not going to notice. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu notices. So when your humility doesn't kick in, the Torah says that Yirat Shamayim is the only thing that's going to save you. How do you have Yirat Shamayim? He says the fear of God will intensify in your heart by using this very simple tool. The Gemara says first, in Masechet Brachot, first, Try to grab a book of Torah. Try to grab some Torah, some Gemara, some Chumash, something. Press play on one of the Shurim. Yaron Reuven / Gehenom. Yaron Reuven, Kafakela. Well, one of those scary Shurim. Press play. That doesn't work. The play doesn't work. The computer's not next to you. Say Shema Yisrael. Say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Why? Remind yourself there's a God that's watching. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the Shema Yisrael, it's like Modeh Ani. It's like, thank you Hashem. Like you don't even realize what you're saying, Bichlal. So, Chachamim say, after this Yirat Shamayim intensifies in your heart, but sometimes it doesn't work, think for a second about the day that you're going to die. There's going to be a day, lo aleinu, lo alechem anytime soon, but after 120, or whenever Hashem decides, Malach HaMavet shows up and says, you're the next customer. So what's going to happen then? Why? You just say, hey, what's up? High five, Malach HaMavet, how you doing? How's it over there? Show me around. What happens over there? So now, Rabotai Kareem, I did a shiur about 1.5 years ago that's Baruch Hashem very popular and helped countless people do tshuva. It's called Gehenom. It's probably the most scary shiur you're ever going to see in your life in English, and most likely even any other language, but nonetheless, it got a lot of people, enough Yirat Shamayim to get away from a lot of big sins. Much of what I discussed in there came from across all over the Torah, but there was one particular section that we delved on more than others, which is the Reshit Chochmah Masechet Gehenom. It's a book that was written a few hundred years ago, and he has in there a section called Masechet Gehenom, the tractate of Gehenom. What happens in Gehenom, all 7 chambers, and so on and so forth. Now this same book, which by the way is no one translated it to English. Before that, it has Masechet Chibut HaKever. Right before it. What's Chibut HaKever? Chibut HaKever literally translates the beatings of the grave. That's what it translates to. What happens after you die? You get beat up in the grave. What kind of beatings? That's what we're going to go over today. Because at some point or another, we're going to need to see this. Now, the Ramban writes here, the Mishnah, and he says, if the Yetzer Hara appears and you don't know what to do, then always be aware from where you have come and where you are destined to go, and you will realize that in life you are as frail as the maggot or the worm, all the more so in a death. Meaning that in life, what do you have? Flesh and blood. If you took all the chemicals that make up a body, just all the chemical aspects of it, maybe somewhere between $9 to $13 worth of chemicals. That's what's in your whole body. Your whole body's $9 to $13 depending on the market, depending where you buy in the US or outside. $13, you're expensive already. Now you feel strong, a little stomach ache, all of a sudden you're nothing. A little toothache, all of a sudden you're nothing. A little grain of sand in your eye, all of a sudden you're like hitting it like there's somebody's beating you up. A little grain of sand is in your eye, all of a sudden all that hero, all that strong, all of a sudden nothing. It says you're so frail like nothing. You what, flesh and blood? What do you have? Fall off a bicycle, the leg breaks into 15 pieces. What happened? The leg was really strong before the bicycle. So remember you're nothing as while you're here, but he reminds us that you're frail as a maggot or a worm. Why maggot or worm? All the more so in death. Chachamim say it's because the source for what he's saying is in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, which talks about what happens after you die. Now, the Gemara in Masechet Nidah, page 16b, says a story, a narration that happened to all of us. No matter if you're male, female, Jewish, not Jewish, tall, short, black, white, green, burgundy, whatever you are, all of us it happened to. The moment you were conceived. The moment the seed and the egg connected, the Gemara says there's a malach, there's an angel that takes that seed, brings him up to Shamayim. And the angel's name is Laila. And Laila comes up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, Hashem, what will be with this seed? What will be with it? Will he be rich or poor? Will it be a he or a she? Will it be tall or short? Will he be someone that is going to be smart or stupid? What will it be, the seed? What's going to be with this one? Who's the zivuk for this one? Everything that happens to this is decided already before it ever becomes a baby. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides at that moment who that zivuk for that person is supposed to be, unless they lose it because of bad decisions. They decide whether this person is going to be rich or poor, regardless of what business they're in. I know plenty of guys that work on Wall Street that still to this day collect tzedakah from the rest of the workmates because they can't make a living. And I know a guy that sold dog food and made hundreds of millions of dollars. Dog food. Made hundreds of millions of dollars from dog food. When I was a kid, we fed our dogs whatever was left. Apparently it became a big business. In America, $1 billion business. So it doesn't matter what you do for a living. HaKadosh Baruch Hu already decides whether you're going to be rich or poor. He decides whether you're going to be strong or weak. He decides whether you're going to be able to see or not. He decides whether you're going to have good hearing or bad hearing. He decides everything for you. The only thing he does not decide, the only thing he does not tell this malach named Laila is whether you're going to do what Hashem wants you to do or not. Why? That's your free choice. That's what you decide once you're here. But Laila comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and asks him, Hashem, what will be with this? And all of us experience this. After Hashem decides, and during the 9 months that you're in your mommy's belly, there's an angel that's sitting next to you and teaching you the entire Torah. That's why sometimes you'll hear some divrei Torah that you never heard before, but you feel like you've heard it before. You never read it in a book, but you feel like you've heard it before. Why? Because you heard it before. You heard it before, but you never heard it before, but you heard it before. Why? It was in the belly. You know the entire Torah. In essence, all I'm doing is reminding all of you of what you already know. This angel sits with you, chavruta, 9 months. Aleph, Bet, Reshit, Bereshit, the Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, and so on and so forth. All of the books of the Torah, all of the Midrashim, all of the Gemarot, everything you learn. He tells you all of the mitzvot too. And before you leave, on the day of birth, he says, you see me, you're going to see me again. If you fulfill everything we learned, I'll welcome you with open arms. But if you don't, I won't. Others will welcome you. And they're not so nice. And then he hits you on the top of the lip so you forget everything you've learned. That way you still have free choice. If you remembered everything you learned, you wouldn't have free choice. It would defeat the purpose of coming to the world. Now after a person comes to this world, you, me, everybody else that's watching, Baruch Hashem, we make many, many decisions. Some of those decisions are good, some of those decisions are stupid. But at some point, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, time's up, son. Come back to Abba. If you made the right decisions, you have not much to worry about. Other than there's going to be a little bit of pain in the beginning, because there's chibut hakever for everybody, but it's not the same level for everyone.